What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We've got it tore apart. I had to get my dad to come over and give me a hand with this. It did not go as planned. I thought that you could split it back here at the back because the way they had this built, it just conveniently comes apart right here at your loader frame mounts. And so we split it right here, and it come apart real easy right here. Everything just worked good. Left all the loader subframe here all on the front half, rolled it all forwards, and then realized that there is a step inside the bell housing here. As you can see right here, see how this is stepped in? That will not allow the clutch to come out the back side of it. It likes about a 1/2 inch. And so that meant that it had to be split right here where we got it now. And this piece should have been left on the back half of the tractor. So didn't do that to start with because I didn't know and didn't have a book or anything, any information on this thing. So it just looked easier to split it at the back part and roll the whole loader frame forward so I wouldn't have to take the loader frame off. But it didn't work out that way. So we had to take the loader frame off because, as you see here, it bolted to this piece. And they conveniently put a stud right there that you couldn't get out because it's down in behind. Let's see here. It's down in behind here, right here where this bolt's at. So the stud wouldn't come out very easily, kind of deal. So we just pull this whole piece off, manhandle it out of the way. Got it all apart. And then we had to get this piece here off of there and get it stuck back up on the tractor. Which we spent probably 3 hours doing that, probably 3 hours wasted because we split it in the wrong spot. That's about how long it took to get it. From where we had it up here to get it back here, we put a jack on the ground up under the tractor. It jacked up. I got on one side, my dad got on the other. We was able to roll it back and get it stabbed back up there. I don't know what that piece weighs, but it must be 300 or 400 pounds because it was not, no manhandling it going on to mount to nothing. But anyway, got it all tore apart here, and I'm going over everything to see what kind of parts I need. And I've got the clutch assembly tore apart here on the floor. Right there, that's the pressure plate of the PTO clutch. Here's the actual drive disc right here. Get out of your light here so you can see a little better, and you can see it's down on the rivets right here. It's starting to scuff the rivets up. Right there, it's on the rivets. Not much left of it there on either side. This clutch disc from the factory is $600, and the other one's about $450. I did find a reman clutch online for I think $350, I think, for two of them. This one and the PTO clutch, something like that. I'm debating on whether to put a pressure plate in it and a flywheel. I measured it with a straight edge. I've got about 15 thousandths of wear across here on that, and on the flywheel there. That can be surfaced out. I don't know what the limits is on this stuff. Not ever doing one, not having no information. I'm not sure what the limits is, but 15 thousandths does not sound like a whole lot to me. For a clutch setup on that. So this is what we got going on here. I didn't really film anything of this. It was just a mass confusion trying to get this thing apart, trying to figure out how to do it safely. All this stuff is big and heavy. And we got stuff thrown everywhere, and didn't really know what we were doing either. We were just kind of going at it as we went there. And I've got transmission jack, Harbor Freight 2,000-pound transmission jack up under there, and I got a jack stand stuck under the edge of it right there as well, so it can't come down. So I'm gonna figure out my parts list and decide what to do. I think that pressure plate there is about $300 just for this one piece right here. If you buy this whole assembly, they make this whole assembly I think it's $1,400 without the clutch disc, and it's another $600. So that's $2,000. And then the flywheel is $500 and something, so $2,500 for the whole setup if you go about it that way. But I'm trying to figure out a little cheaper alternative. I don't want to spend that much on it, so probably going to go with the reman clutch disc. And I may buy this, or I may check out see about resurfacing it, and probably see about resurfacing this flywheel. I mean, it's not really bad. It doesn't really have any heat spots in it too much. It's just wore down a little bit there. And I'll check that out a little bit closer. I'm not real sure what I'm gonna do on the front end yet either. The pinion being stripped. I'm surely thinking about welding it, because the pinion gear set is about $1,000 plus the drive shaft here. It's got some wear on it too, on the splines right here. It's a little wore. I think this is about $300 and something as well. But I'm thinking about buying the new couplers here. These couplers are pretty inexpensive, $50 or so, $60, something like that. And I think that'll give me a tighter fit on both ends. And if I can get a dial caliper on that drive shaft up in, or on the pinion gear, and tack this thing and get my run out right, I think it will work. I just hate to spend that kind of money and then it still break, because obviously it broke the first time. So you know, I'm almost tempted to chance, you know, doing something a little different and see if I get at least the same result or a better result. Spend $1,400, $1,500 in parts, and you know, you get the same thing. You haven't really done anything. So if I were to buy all of that stuff plus all the clutch stuff from Mahindra, it'd be about $4,000 worth of just parts, not counting all the labor. And I would guess the labor would probably be way on up there pretty good too. My last Mahindra, I'll talk about it for just a second, that you can see on my YouTube page. I don't have any videos of it. Well, I think maybe there is one, maybe one of the first videos I did back in 2012 on my YouTube channel that shows it for just a brief second. But when I bought it, it was actually, it was fire damaged. It was salvaged, and it had caught on fire. And from what I read, it was something about that it had got parked too close to a campfire, or the fire got out or something and caught it on fire. And it was actually burned from the fan up here all the way up. The fire come up all the way to the back of the seat. But the tires were still good, I guess, because these Mahindras have metal fenders and stuff. I guess that the heat protected the heat off of the tires, and it didn't melt the tires. But had to completely tear the tractor all the way apart. I did not have to split it. I just had to pull all the sheet metal off around the cowl, the fenders, the hood, and everything, and completely redid the whole wiring harness and everything. There was nothing actually on the motor or anything mechanically damaged, but like all the pins and stuff were seized up like this here, you know, from the heat and everything, and had to go through that whole 9 yards and completely buy all that stuff new. And I spent over $5,000 in parts on that tractor when I did it, and I kept it 3 years, and it was still running good whenever I sold it. So hopefully I can keep this for a while and keep it running good as well. One good thing that Mahindra does, a lot of people's got their opinions on their tractors, and that's fine, so do I. I'm not sure that I would buy a brand new one just because of the resale value and everything. But one good thing, I've never had problems getting parts for my other tractor that I had, because they have a warehouse, a parts warehouse down in Katy, Texas. And you can actually get on the internet there and go to Mahindra website and click on parts catalog, and you can look up all the parts for this tractor in a catalog format, and select your local dealer. Doesn't matter if they're 100 miles from you, select your local dealer. And I guess the way it works is your local dealer will receive that order that you place on there and send the stuff to you. It shows you the price and everything on there. You add it to your cart, and check out. You don't have to call and say, hey, I need this part here that looks like this. I'm not sure what it's called, because you got a parts catalog and you can look it up. It automatically gives you the price, so you don't have to go through all that headache. As I have had to do with other things, you call the dealer and you wait 3 or 4 hours and they call you back, oh yeah, it's not available, or it's this price, and all that kind of stuff. So that is one good thing I do like about the Mahindra tractors, and I wish other tractor manufacturers would do that, and some of them may, and I just don't know about it. But I think that's really cool. Like I say, never had any trouble getting parts for my other one, so hopefully I won't have any trouble getting parts for this one, because this is actually a more popular model than the last one I had. The last one I had was a 6500, and it was a 2004 model. This is 2012 model, so it should be a little easier to get parts for and everything. Yeah, if I were going to buy a new tractor, it would probably be something with a wet clutch instead of a dry clutch, because it just lasts longer. Dry clutch should work fine. It probably depends on the operator. And who knows what these guys were doing. They might have been in a high gear, going backwards and forth in a pile. I always had mine, I tried to keep it in first gear when I was getting a scoop of dirt or something, and then whenever I shifted ranges, I would shift the gear at the same time, so it was only one time that you had to stop and release the clutch to cut down on wear. So I would go into the pile of dirt or whatever in first gear forward, mash the clutch when I got my bucket full, pull it to reverse, and then grab like third gear and back up, and then go back to forward or whatever. So less wear than slipping the clutch in a higher gear. Just one more time, you got to change gears. But yeah, I would probably look at maybe a John Deere. I don't know, some of John Deere stuff is not that great either. I know some of their tractors have aluminum rear ends on the smaller series, and a lot of people say that's not too good either, and I don't think it is either. But I have dealer support for John Deere in my town. That's the main thing we have. Kubota seems to have problems with their emissions issues, and so that's a big thing too. And one of the reasons I bought this tractor, because it's tier 3 emissions and not tier 4 emissions. So that should be one less problem. And but for simplicity, the Mahindras are pretty simple. They don't have a whole lot of electronics in comparison to some of the other stuff, but there is, you know, it's got a little crudeness to it. So if you don't mind a little crudeness, and you know, like on some of the older equipment and whatnot, might be a great tractor for you. I know a lot of people buy them brand new and they keep them a long time and they love them and never had any trouble with them. Usually if they have trouble with them, it's something simple, like a ground wire or something loose, or a loose connection or something that got overlooked from everything I've read. They did have some complaints on some of the ones. The smaller series are not even synchronized transmission. Now, I would not buy one of those for sure, because it grinds every time you shift it, and that's not good. But anyway, kind of getting off topic here, and this video is probably getting pretty long, so I'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to go ahead and see about getting my parts ordered, and take a look at this flywheel and stuff here. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.